ready to rumble. Okay.
Let's get ready. Okay.
Can you smell what the box cooking? Hey guys, I'm Cole.
I'm Miguel.
And we're Comey.
Comey.
So we're gonna have fun tonight making a certain dish.
Oh yes.
It is
Thai night.
yes. So this came about because we wanted Thai food, but we could never get it. And why?
We had a Thai restaurant in our area, and then it closed, and then it reopened, and we were happy, and then it closed again. We just can't get Thai. It's quite sad.
And who wants to pay those prices anyways when
exactly.
you can just make it yourselves?
And that's what we're gonna do tonight.
Yeah. So if you guys stay right there, we'll be right back to show you how we're going to start this dish out right. So for the first dish that we're going to do today, I'm doing a coconut curry, specifically chicken coconut curry, but you can equally do this dish with shrimp or even beef or pork. The coconut curry sauce itself is the basis for pretty much anything that you want to put in it. So you want to go vegan, use some tofu, veggies, keep it simple, keep it fun. I'm going to start with cutting and dicing up the onion that goes in it. So I'm looking for like half moon shapes when it comes to this, and that just has to do with, it makes it easier. We're going to actually be sweating out the onion and then adding everything to it. So I actually like the surface area that it gives you when you actually do the half moon shapes as opposed to a fine dice or a mince or anything like that. But if you have someone in your life that's like mine, that is not an onion fan, you know, smaller dices, not a bad thing either. It's not going to change the flavor, it's just going to change the texture. So I'm just going to get real thin slices going on this onion. I'm using a red onion, and the recipe will include down below in the comments there. The typical recipe does call for both a red onion and some shallots, but you can easily do this recipe with either. You can use the sweet onion, you can use a yellow onion, just using what we got. So, you know, do the same, have fun with it. Try some different flavor combinations and see what you end up liking. The next thing is my red bell pepper that I want to julienne, which is a fancy word for saying is thin strips. So I'm just going to go ahead and actually take out on either side here, if you guys can see that. I just actually run my knife along there, and then I actually just go in with my fingers and pull the ribs the rest of the way out. This way I can get all those ribs and the seeds, hopefully in one quick shot, and then give it a little tap there. All right, so for a julienne, we're looking for like thin strips. So you're just gonna take your knife, run the back of your fingers here up against it so that you have a guiding point here, and you're just looking for thin strips. That big, smaller, it's up to you, honestly, whatever you decide to go with. So for the julienne, you're just gonna do the thin strips and keep on going for the entire pepper here. Again, it'll kind of work in favor with the onions that we have going there in the half circles and the thin slices. So again, everything cooks up at the same exact time. Okay guys, so next part of the recipe is going to call for 2 cloves of garlic. I wanted to see if you guys remember that tip from before, dipping the knife in a little bit of water so that the garlic doesn't stick. So I'm going to go ahead and mince this up pretty fine. Garlic's starting to stick to the knife, so I'm just going to add a little bit more water. Come back through with my knife here. Hey guys, I'm back. So we got all our veggies done, which is awesome. Had to move the onions out of the way though, because neither of us could see to film and sharp objects and all that. So we have our chicken in front of us here. I'm just going to go ahead and cube it up. So what I'm looking for is essentially just keeping everything about bite size, so you can get a little bit of everything. You know, we're not looking for like 1-inch cubes or anything like that. I'm looking for a little bit less than that. So like a 1/2-inch cube is what I'm going to go for. If you get some smaller pieces or break-offs just because of how it's like, you know, halved, no big deal. They'll just cook up a little faster. You definitely got to just keep an eye on it. That's all. So we do have some fat on here. When I get down to the bottoms here, might trim some of that off. But a little of it we do want to leave just because that'll add flavor to the coconut curry. I'm going to be using chicken stock too, so just to drive home kind of like the chicken that we have in there. If you're using seafood, use seafood stock. You can use water too if you want to make this a slightly healthier version. You can definitely do that. Oh, that onion, the horror. cutting some of that muscle there just so it's a little bit easier when you go to eat it. Cut it out maybe. Be even better. Yep, it's pretty good. All right, so I'm just gonna keep cubing up our chicken here. Taking off a little bit of that fat there. I'm just gonna keep cubing up my chicken, and if you guys stay tuned, we'll be back with Miguel's side of the dish, and then just working to get everything together here on the stove. So stick with us, guys. Thanks.
Hey guys, we're back. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Now I'm going to get started on the prep for our pad Krapow, which is basically beef with Thai basil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to prep the sauce, and then I'm going to slice up some veggies here. So I've already got some suey in here with some cornstarch. So it's about 1 teaspoon of soy sauce, and it's about 1.5 teaspoons of cornstarch. Cornstarch is going to thicken things up nicely. And we also went with 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper to taste. It's up to you how much black pepper you want, whether you want more or not. So we like a decent amount of black pepper. We like a decent amount of heat. I'm going to grab my fish sauce right here. Get my tablespoon at the ready. Now this stuff can be very, very potent. Just like soy sauce, fish sauce can be very salty and it can be very potent. So if you like the flavor of it, then great. But I'm going to do a little more than a teaspoon just because we do like the flavor of it. But again, it can be powerful, so you want to be a little judicious with it, if you know what I mean. So, and again, we're going to also add a handful of basil. So I'm going to do a rough chiffonade chop on our basil and throw that right in. And we're also going to save some basil to top on the end. So just move that out of the way real quick. And we're going to get to chopping. So first thing I want to do is get my garlic ready. So get a couple of cloves out of there. Oh yeah, these are nice big cloves. Unfortunately, Nicole did not get the big cloves. Sorry, babe. Sorry about that. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is just give them a quick pound. So we can get those peeled quickly. There we go. Now that I got my garlic all peeled up. So I'm just going to give this a rough chop. So I'm just going to run my knife through it real quick. And then we are just going to give it a rough chop. So we have some nice minced garlic in here. There we go. Remember, always keep your fingers out of the way. Always use your thumb as the guide. So put your thumb at the back, get your fingers out of the way, and that way your knife doesn't move. Just, you know, you have a nice rocking motion with your knife, and you can just feed the food through. And I'm just going to throw this directly into our sauce. So we've got that at the ready. Just throw all that beautiful garlic right in there. There we go. That's going to come together really, really nicely. So what we're going to do is we're going to do about 3 tablespoons of canola oil. You really want that. So that's about it. That looks about good. Yeah. Some Worcestershire sauce. So we're going to add a tablespoon of Worcestershire. Now, I also want to add a good amount of ginger. A teaspoon of ginger. Ginger can be really heavy and really strong. Be careful with it. But we like ginger. So Cole really loves ginger. So now, if you can get your hands on fresh ginger and grate it freshly, that would be the preference. Okay, now we're going to chop some other veggies. So we have some dried chilies in here. So those are going to go directly in. Now, calls for red Thai chilies. Unfortunately, we couldn't get red Thai chilies here. So we have these dried chilies that we're going to use. These are nice hot chilies. You know, you could chop these up, but they're going to go all over the place if you try to chop them up. The best thing to do, get some good kitchen shears and just chop them up nice and thin. Directly in there. Okay, I think that's enough dried chilies for now. Yeah, so we're just gonna cut these. We're gonna do nice thin slices on the jalapenos. Just cut them on a bias like that, and just get nice thin shavings on the jalapenos. There we go. Oh yeah, there we go. That's really looking great. So something else, taste as you go. You always want to make sure that you're tasting everything as you go, just in case you need to add something, you know, maybe you added too much of something and you need to balance it out some way. So always taste as you go. So I'm just going to get my spoon down in here and see what we have. So I want to see how hot it is. I want to see how sweet it is, you know, how herbaceous it is. So just get down in there. Let's see. That is really great. Okay, now I'm gonna chop up some Thai basil. So I'm gonna take out a couple of leaves here. Oh yeah, that is just, oh, you can smell it. It has an anise smell to it. That's really great. It's really super savory. I'm gonna take off a couple of these leaves and give them a quick chiffonade. Chiffonade is just a fancy word for, you know, you're going to get really nice, like, ribbony strips. You're going to roll it up, and then you're just going to run your knife through it. What you do, you just get a nice little pile, try to stack them as best as you can, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to give them a quick roll. You don't want to be too harsh with it. Try to be a little gentle with it. You don't want to bruise the basil. And there you go. Just give it a nice roll, and then just rock, nice rocking motions, and just run your knife through it, moving your fingers back ever so slightly. There you go. And you have nice little ribbony strips. That's going to go right in. The steak and the Thai basil is really the star of the show. That sauce is perfect. So if you guys stick around for just a couple more minutes, come on back and we'll chop up some steaks. Hey guys, and we're back. Thanks a lot for sticking with us. So now I'm going to prep the beef for our pad Krapow. Now for this dish, you want to shave your beef as thin as possible. A little tip, when you're slicing beef super thin, or anything for that matter, so I just throw the beef in the freezer for like 15 minutes, give it a nice chill, let it sort of firm up so it doesn't get really soft and mushy in your hands. And that way, when you're going to slice it, you can get nice, thin, super thin strips. So again, I'm just going to cut some of this fat off because we don't need all the fat. We are going to leave some of it on there because fat is flavor. Get a nice long knife. Let the knife do all the work. And cut on an angle, on a bias. And you want to get super thin. We want to see if we can get super thin shavings here. When it's nice and firm, it's much easier to cut. And that's what we're looking for. Something like that. Maybe even a little thinner for this. So I'm just going to shave that. And this is going to cook up super quick when it hits the hot oil. So you see how the knife is just cutting through it like butter? So that's going to hit the pan and that's going to cook up in seconds. So if you guys just hang out right there, I'm going to finish cutting up this beef. And then we are going to be right back and we are going to cook this puppy up. And it's going to be fantastic.
Hey guys, I'm back. I'm going to get started on the chicken coconut curry. The sauce itself, like everything that we have, is in the ingredient list down below, but it is very simple. So I am going to start with the chicken. I'm just going to brown it up until it's done, pull it aside, and then get started on our sauce, and then just add everything back in at the end. So it'll come together really fast, I promise. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with a really hot pan here, because I do want to get them golden brown and delicious here. Good bit of canola oil on the bottom here. About a full tablespoon to 2 tablespoons actually. And then I'm just going to go ahead and start pulling in our chicken. Oh yeah, a good sizzle. Okay, see mine done. Alright, so I'm just gonna go a couple minutes on either side, flip them over. We got chunks, so it will take just a few minutes. A lot faster if I did whole pieces or cutlets in here, but we do also have a lot in the pan, so we do want to give everybody time to get actually golden brown. So just gonna keep an eye on these guys. Starting. Make sure everybody gets an equal chance on the bottom there. If you get a little sticky, guys, that's okay. Hey guys, I'm gonna get a little bit more of the oil in the pan here, just so our onions don't stick. Thank you so much, Miguel. Nice hot pan here. Now we're looking to actually just soften the onions. We're not actually looking to brown them up or get them golden. So we just want to keep it at a lower temperature and just let them sweat out. So in order to get that started, we do want to go ahead and add some of our salt now. We definitely want to season these guys up too with our pepper. Alright guys, so we're just continuing to soften up these onions here. They're looking really, really good. I'm going to do about half of that. And we don't want these to get super softened up, so I'm just going to give them a twirl. I'll take the garlic too. Thank you. I'm going to get some of that pungent flavor out of the garlic, so it's a little bit more on the mellow side, guys. Go ahead and put in our 2 teaspoons of tomato paste. I know that sounds really weird because you're like coconut, tomato paste. It's that acidity, guys, that just really balances out the dish. You're just basically going until that tomato paste gets a little bit darker in color. Do a cup of water, and it's going to start bringing all of that beautiful foam from the bottom of the pan. Add in some of my bamboo shoots, about half a cup, and go in with 1.5 tablespoons of curry powder. And I will take the coconut milk, please. Thank you. Now the stuff on top of the coconut is actually the cream part. You want the whole can, so put everything in the pool here, guys. 1 whole can. Just get that stirring. At this point, I am also going to go ahead and add in my brown sugar and my coconut, so my coconut can start getting a little softened up. I'm also going to go ahead and add our chicken back. Any juices that got on the plate or anything like that, just go add everybody back in the pool. Just do it nice and slow because you do have a really hot liquid here. What I do like to do is typically add a bag of veggies to this, so we're going to just use a bag of frozen veggies. I'm just going to get these guys in here. They'll steam by themselves.
So now we are going to get started on our pad Krapow. So I've got a nice hot cast iron here. I'm going to hit it with some canola real quick. A decent amount of canola in there. First thing I'm going to do, now this one's going to go super quick. So first, beef. We're going to get some sizzle. There we go. So get that beef moving around in there. Now this beef, as you remember, was shaved super thin. So this stuff is going to cook up super quick. So we're already going there. We're already building up a nice fond. You can see it right there on the bottom. So just keep that moving around. Okay, this beef is ready to go. Hit it with some bell pepper. Get those moving around in there. Add a little bit of moisture. Bell peppers have natural moisture in them, so that's going to be great. This is the sauce that I prepared earlier, and then we are ready to go. Oh yeah, don't want to miss any of that. This is pretty much ready to go. We're just going to let this simmer for a couple of minutes. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of veggie. That's looking fantastic. So we're just going to use the same veggies that we did in the other one. Yeah, this is looking really fantastic, guys. So now we're going to hit it with a little bit of bone broth. Probably about a quarter cup. It'll also mellow out some of that heat. Get up some of that residual fond off the bottom. So we're just going to let that simmer away. And the very last thing is, I just want to take some of that beautiful Thai basil that we talked about earlier. And I would just want to take a couple of leaves of this beautiful Thai basil and just rip it off and just put it right on top. And that's just going to wilt in there, and it's going to add just that extra depth of flavor that you're looking for. Just give that a little mix. Okay, and we are good to go. Cut the heat, and guys, that's it. Like I said, comes together super quick, and we are done. We'll be back in a minute with the plates.
All right, guys, we're back, and here we have Thai food, night in.
We have the pad Krapow, and we also have the coconut chicken curry, and they both look amazing.
Oh, so good. But definitely, guys, let us know down in the comment what you guys thought, and, you know, if you guys make this, you know, let us know how it went for you, some of the things that you guys changed. Make it unique and make it fun and make it you.
We had a lot of fun making this. You know, if you like what we're doing, please let us know in the comments.
Yeah, definitely don't forget to subscribe and
Hit that notification bell.
make it unique, make it fun,
and make it yours.
Thanks
Thanks
guys.
a lot.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Bye, guys.
okay. Chopsticks. See you guys. Bye.